Hey guys, I'm back with my 1 month, 1 palette video telling you what I used in September, updating you about it, and telling you what I will use for the month of October. So let's get started. For the month of September, I have kind of been running low on my larger palettes. So I've been kind of going through my smaller palettes, kind of 5, 6 pans, things that I just felt like I couldn't really use for a whole month by themselves. And I do, in case you're new to this challenge, I pick one palette a month and I use that palette exclusively for the month. If I want to add something extra to it, I can. You know, I mean, it's not like I'm going to be punished, but I try to use that palette and come up with looks in that palette, decide if I really like the palette. Is it worth keeping? Is it something I want to continue to use? Just to get my feel of the palette. And I try to film a few looks for you and I insert those clips to show you how those looks turned out. And I go through the palette and talk about the colors. So, I've gone through all my large palettes, as I said, so I've been using some smaller ones. So, for the month of September, I used my Marc Jacobs Lolita palette, which is not a tiny palette, but I just didn't feel like it was large enough to use exclusively. And my Clinique Neutral Territory 2, yeah, that's what it's called. And it's about the same size as the Lolita. They're both very kind of one theme. Say like the chocolate bar palette, for example, from Too Faced. You can do all kinds of stuff. You're not going to get sick of that in a month. And these, I just felt like they were a little too small. So I decided to pair the two together. So I'm going to insert the clips of my looks right now. And then we'll talk about it. Okay, for my first look, I went into my Lolita palette. And I took the matte brown color and the matte bone color and used the matte brown through the crease, the bone color on the brow bones, and I realized the brown color is very much a neutral shade of brown. So I typically go for warmer browns, but I guess it works pretty good since it is neutral. And then I decided to use the Clinique palette today and started off this color on the lid. I didn't like it, so I added a bit of this to add a little bit more sparkle. Still didn't like it, so I went back in and added this on top. So it's kind of a layered effect of the three. It made for an okay eye look, but overall not exactly pleased. But it is just kind of a basic everyday look, and I have Laura Mercier Amethyst on my lower lash line. I've been out in the sun, so it may be a little smudged, but that is my first look. Okay guys, today is another look primarily from the Clinique palette, but I did go in with my Marc Jacobs Lolita palette first off, and I used this through the crease as I've been doing every day since the Clinique palette doesn't have any mattes, and then I used this on my brow bone, and I really do like these two colors. And then from the Clinique palette, I did one of my favorite looks, and I used my favorite shades. I went in with Hazy all over the lid and Black Honey in the outer third, and blended it into the crease a little. I'm wearing kind of a dusty pink shirt today, so I thought Hazy would be really pretty to go with it, and I love Black Honey. These two shades are the only shades that I can think of off the top of my head that are available as singles. So I think those are definitely worth picking up, but I will talk more about that in my review. So that is the eye look for today, and it is my favorite look from the Clinique palette. Hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and apologize for my eyebrow situation. I plucked my eyebrows yesterday evening, and apparently I got some irritatedness, which I didn't even know till I was zoomed in to do this for you. Okay, my eye look today is all from the Marc Jacobs Lolita palette. So first off, I went in with the matte brown crease color, and I did in my crease like I do every day this month. Then I took the two shimmery shades at the very end. This is a lighter shade, and I applied it to the front, or the first third, I guess, to kind of give it a little bit of brightness. Then I took this on the last 2/3 and blended it all on the lid. I kind of took it in the crease a little, but not very much at all. I went back and added a touch more of this in the crease. Then I thought I would add a little bit of something different. So I took this shade here, which is almost a bit of a duochrome. Of course it's not picking up in the pan. Sorry, I'm not used to being this close. It doesn't show up at all like that. And I added that just the slightest bit on the inner corner. It has almost a, it has a kind of a pink blue flash, so I decided to add that on the inner corner just to do it. So that's all. Okay, so you've seen the looks. Some of them I filmed at the very beginning of the month, so I don't really know exactly what looks I showed you or what I thought about them. But we will just go through and talk about the Lolita palette first off. Let me use something to point it out. Okay. On this side, this is the matte ivory color, brow bone color. It's a really great color. It is not chalky. It goes on so smooth. It was perfect for the brow bone. Sometimes these colors are not necessarily too dark for me, but I just don't think they're light enough, and this was perfectly light enough for me. Here was a good matte crease color. I used it every day. I mean, I'm really making some dents in those two. It was pushing, maybe it was more neutral. I like mine a little more on the warm orangey shade, you know, end of things, but it was perfect. I enjoyed it. It was a great texture. This is a matte dark brown color. I used it on the outer corner once or twice. That's a look I don't really just go for a lot, but it's nice to have one in a palette for if you do want to do that. I don't really do it for liner, but I know a lot of people do. I mean, this is really dark. It's probably darker than MAC Mystery. This color, I don't know how well it's going to show up, but it is straight up chunky glitter. I used it maybe once or twice, patting it on the center of the lid. This is not a color that in this palette, if I was to try to pan the palette or decide whether I was done with it, I could have some of this and some of that and consider the palette done. I mean, I'm not going to finish those up. This is a very interesting, almost duochrome color. It's not going to pick up. It's kind of a off-white beige, but a duochrome of kind of a pink, so it is pretty. I did wear it on my lid. And then these two colors at the end were the ones I went for every day. I'm wearing them today. This is just a lighter kind of peachy color, and this is a really perfect bronzy, just gorgeous color. I really enjoy those. My look I'm wearing today that I did go for a lot was this on the brow bone, this in the crease, this at the front of my eyelid, and this on the last like 2/3 of my eyelid. This to just have it a little more brighter, but not necessarily an inner corner highlight because I didn't wear it at that. This palette was one, I've mentioned it before, if you have a lot of shadows, a lot of neutral shadows, I don't think it's a must-have. Now, if you do, say, a lot of traveling for work and you don't have a really good travel palette, this would be nice for that because you have your matte colors that you need, you have a few lid colors, you have a darker shade, you have the glittery little sparkly color if you wanted to get a little crazy and fancy. You have that duochrome color, which I did use inner corner occasionally. So it is nice, but if you wanted to pick up a gift for somebody that maybe didn't have a lot of eyeshadows, this is really luxurious. It's really nice. It's good quality. There's nothing bad I can say about this, but I can't say it's a must-have if you have a lot of shadows because it doesn't stand out as being super unique, but I really like it. I definitely want to keep the palette. I'm glad I have it, and I will continue to use it. Okay, now onto the Clinique palette. There are 3 shades in here that I guess are permanent, and then the rest of them are in other palettes because it just says dark brown shade of Morning Java Quad, stuff like that. So we'll start out with the ones that are permanent. This is Sugar Cane. which is a just icy glittery white. And then this shade, Hazy, which is kind of a dark purpley taupe, and then Black Honey, which is kind of a burgundy brown with, and these both have glitter. Those are the permanents. The rest are not. I'll get up here real close. I don't like that color. I don't like that color. I do like, that color's okay. I do like that color for a crease. It has shimmer in it, but it's more of like a satin, so it's okay. That color's okay. Hazy, I'll tell you what, I loved Hazy so much. I actually had the full size and I purged it in all my declutters because I had it in here, and I also had the full size Black Honey, which I just hadn't got around to getting rid of. I have since picked up Hazy because I'm going to get rid of this. We'll just skip to the point. Hazy and Black Honey are the only shades in this palette I really like, and then this dark color is just nothing special. So I did wear Black Honey all over the lid. I wore Hazy all over the lid. I put Black Honey in the crease with Hazy. I used this kind of tan color in the crease. That's all I did with this palette. It just wasn't the palette for me. So I'm going to pass it on. And I do not feel like I broke my low buy by picking up Hazy. Since I had it, I got rid of it, and I'm getting rid of this. So that's how I feel about it. That palette is very passable for me. A lot of the shades are just super shimmery and super glittery. And like I said, Hazy and Black Honey are permanent. You can pick them up full size. Anyways, and you may think, well, why did you do that if you have this? But I'd rather not have this whole palette for those two shades. I'd rather have them as singles if that's all I use. That's just me. Okay, so keeping one, getting rid of one. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a spoiler for one of the items I picked up for October. I have been wanting it so bad, and with fall coming up and everybody talking about it, I finally bit the bullet. The Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. This is not a palette at first I really was interested in, and now people, I don't know, people have talked about it so much that I just had to get it. I did play with it one time already, so I mean, that I can't tell you really anything about it. But these are the colors. You have your warm palette, your cool palette, and your neutral palette. I definitely, the warm is the selling point for me. I'm just all about the matte shadows. The matte shadows, the matte lipsticks. I don't know. I'm all about them lately. So I'm going to use this. However, I probably will get bored with just mattes. So that's where my little rule plays in, that I can use other shadows to incorporate with it if I want to. So if I want, you know, to wear Hazy from Clinique one day, I can wear Hazy and then use all the others. But I'm going to try to use that on its own as much as possible. And the looks I put into the video, I want to be primarily just those, because I want you to really get a feel of the palette, not something else. So that is what I'm going to do this month. I still have Naked 2 I want to do. I'll do that either November or December. If you'll have a preference, you can tell me down below. And then other than that, I have a few other small ones that I'm going to incorporate. And I've been thinking about what I'm going to do. I am pregnant, if you don't know. I'm due January. So I think I'm going to have January doing another 1 month, one palette. I think I can fit that in. But February, I'm probably going to take that off, because I'm not going to be wanting to pay attention to looks and keeping up with the palette to give you a good review. And then I don't know what I'm going to do after that, because I had already decided that I might do something different next year. Maybe do singles. I don't really know. Maybe do quads. So I don't know. But I do think for the sake of being consistent with stuff, we'll go ahead and roll into January doing the same thing. And then February, I'm not going to do any kind of eye series. I can pretty much tell you that. And then that will give me time to think about what I want to do for the rest of the year. So if you have any ideas of what you would like me to do, tell me down below. I don't want to do a Pan That Palette by itself, because I like the rotating of things. I tried to pan a duo this year, which is still not done. But I keep it at my everyday thing to work on, you know, periodically. So if you have any other ideas of things you'd like me to do or that you've seen, tell me down below. I would love to take your suggestions. And that is all for this month. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for loving this series. I am so glad that you do, because when I thought of it, I didn't even know if it would be something silly or not. And it seems that y'all really do like it. So thank you for that. And I will just talk to you guys later. Bye.